Hey guys, welcome to my channel or welcome back. And in today's video, as you can tell by the title, we're going to be doing a story time about my most recent friendship breakup because this has been heavy on my mind and I was debating for a long time to tell this story just because I was like, okay, just in case if me and this person decide to, get reconnected, then there's no reason for me to tell this story. But, we have not reconnected and, now that time has passed, I was like, you know what? Let me tell the story time. So here we are. So for context, this friendship breakup story is going to be about this girl that I used to work with, and we're not going to say her real name for the sake of the story. We're going to call her Chanel. So me and Chanel, we had knew each other for years before we ever worked together. So long story short, me and Chanel, we had followed each other on Instagram like for years, like since we was in high school. Mind you, we grew up in the same area, but we never went to school together or anything, but we had a lot of mutuals, and also too, we graduated the same year of high school. But anyways, that's besides the point. So like I said, for years we was mutuals on Instagram, whatever. Then fast forward to when I got a job at Sephora. A few months down the line of me working there, one day I randomly came into work, and lo and behold, I see Chanel in the break room getting trained by my manager. So immediately she was like, oh my god, hey girl. And I was like, hey. And I was a little shocked because I was like, oh snap. First I was shocked because I wasn't expecting to, meet some new people that got hired. But also I was shocked because out of all the people, it was somebody that was my mutual on Instagram. And also too, I was a little nervous because, being mutuals with people on social media, people act so different on social media than they do in real life. I've had multiple times where me and somebody will be mutuals on social media and I'd see them in public and be like, oh my gosh, like, hey, like, what's up girl, like, it's so nice to see you in person, like, whatever, like trying to, have like a cutesy little small talk, especially if it's somebody that like I've interacted with multiple times before. And I didn't have multiple times where people act stink. So I always am very, nervous to, approach people that I'm social media friends with. But at the same time, I just feel like who cares, because how are you gonna make friends if you don't put yourself out there? Like, not everybody's gonna want to be your friend, which is okay. And it's just like, okay, if they don't want to be your friend, move on. So anyways, she came in, realized we was working together, we was lit, right? So immediately we clicked and we would talk all the time at work. Like, I'm talking about buddy to the point where our manager would have to separate us, right? Like, we was locked in. Mind you, we was a trio. It was me, Chanel, and this other girl, right? So anyways, with us being a trio, right, we would talk all the time and just be giggling, just always having a good time at work. Like, when it came to us coming to work together, it never really felt like work. It felt like I was just hanging out with friends, because I was like, oh my god, like, yes, like, we lit, we always giggling, just talking, whatever. So anyways, we as a trio had finally decided, you know what, let's make plans to hang out outside of work, because that's how you know if you really locked in. Like, if you really locked in with somebody at work, because you can really talk to somebody and interact with somebody all the time, but it's like, do y'all really hang out outside of work? Do y'all talk outside of work? Like, what's tea with that? So we made plans to hang outside of work, and the first time we hung out, y'all, it was lit as fuck. Like, we had took so many cute pictures and whatnot. Like, we had went to a cocktail bar, and then after we had went to this lounge, because Chanel, she is like, she's a socialite. I'll say this, like, she has a lot of friends who are very social, and she's a very social person herself. So she got a cousin who works at this lounge, and so we pulled up to the lounge, right? And by the time we pulled up, the lounge is closed, but because her cousin worked there, and the cousin convinces the owner, like, let us all take a shot together, whatever. So we all take a shot, we just talking. Mind you, it's closed, whatever. So they just kind of doing their little last minute things of closing up before they lock up the door, right? So anyways, while we in there talking, it's these two security guards, right? And this is like the first instance where like we kind of had like a little like tiff. So anyways, it's these two security guards, and they're both cute, but one is just like way more my type than the other. Like, one was a tall, slim, dark-skinned guy, and he just kind of looked like an average, like, everyday guy. Like, he wasn't ugly, he was cute, but like I said, he looked like an everyday guy. Like I wouldn't think to be like, oh, like, let me double take if I seen him in public, because he just kind of has that like around the way feel, like he just looks familiar. But anyways, the guy next to him was short, and he was light brown with glasses, and he was built, and he was fine, okay, like fine as fuck, and had waves. So immediately I pointed out to my friend Chanel, and I was like, oh my god, like, that guy's cute as fuck. Talk about the short one. So immediately she was like, oh my god, like, I was just literally checking him out too, he cute. So right when I was about to say, okay, like, since we both think he cute, like, fuck it, like, let's just turn up, fuck a nigga, like, we ain't worried about these niggas, she says, oh, may the best woman wins.
Oh, may the best woman wins.
And the sense of, you know, whoever he come to first, like, you know, I'll bet, like, it's up. And in my head, I was kind of shocked, because I was like, what the fuck? Like, that had threw me all the way off, y'all, because I never had no friends say nothing like that, okay? And, you know, maybe some girls move like that in their friendships, but I've just never had a friendship where my friend has said anything like that, or even remotely similar, okay? So when she said that, it threw me all the way off, and in my head I already knew this man is not going for me, because my friend Chanel, I'm not gonna sit here and lie and act like she's not a badass bitch, okay? Like, Chanel is a very, very beautiful woman. She's dark skinned, tall, got hips, but like body T, okay? She East African, know how to beat that face down. She's a very religious like girl, so she's really into her like religion and whatnot. And so, you know, like, a lot of guys like girls like that. So I already knew in my head, like, he gonna be going for her, like, it ain't nothing. Like, you know, guys are very physical, and, you know, she does fit the baddie aesthetic. Like, she is like I said, like, gorgeous, okay? Like, don't need no makeup. Even without the makeup, gorgeous as fuck, okay? So I already knew, like, he was gonna be going for her, so I just was like, fuck it, like, whatever, like, I already know he's gonna be going for you. And I don't say that to her, like, I was just like, okay, cool. But that did kind of like run me the wrong way that she had said that, but I didn't like bring it up in that moment. I was like, you know what, like, if there's like kind of an instance where I feel like I need to, then I'll bring it up. But like right now, I don't really feel like it's necessarily an issue. Long story short, he did end up going for her, but, you know, things ain't work out between them. So anyways, that's besides the point. So then I was working at this taco place while also working at Sephora. And if y'all are familiar with my channel, I've done a few story times about this taco place, from why I quit to why I won't be shooting my shot no more. And if y'all have not seen those story times, I will link them down below in like the description box, so y'all can watch them after you watch this video, just to get a little bit of more like lore about me and whatnot. So anyways, like I said, I was working at this taco place, and I had really liked this guy, right? And I'm not gonna go into too much detail, because like I said, I made a story time about him on why I won't be shooting my shot anymore, and he's the reason why. But anyways, long story short, I had the hugest crush on this guy. Like, thought he was just, you know, like really into me. And if y'all watch that story time, you'll understand why I thought he was really into me. And you know, I thought the feeling was kind of mutual. But anyways, it ended up not being that. But before I found out it ended up not being like that, you know, I had told all my friends about how I had a crush on this guy and how I really liked him. And I like to the point where I even was on some like detective shit, and I found his Instagram, granted, because like no shade like no shade at all, because the guy is black, but like granted, because he did go to predominantly white schools, it was not hard to find him on social media, because he go by his first and last name. And I know you're probably like, what that got to do with anything? But there's a joke on social media that like people who go to predominantly white schools, or is like white or whatever themselves, always go by like their first and last name on social media, or like their first and middle name, whereas like black people, like we typically go by like nicknames and stuff and whatever, which like from what I have seen, it is pretty true. Like every person that I know who is white or has been in predominantly white spaces, on all of their social medias they go by first and last name. So it was not hard to find this nigga at all on social media, okay? So I didn't like follow him or nothing, but like if my friends was like, oh, you know, like what he looked like, you know, it wasn't nothing to search up that Instagram. And too, his page was public, so I searched up that Instagram and I would show them like, this him, right? So it's nothing new with this girl. I'm telling her about him. I'm like, Chanel, like, oh my god, like I got the hugest crush on this nigga. I'm just really just hyping him up, okay? So then she was like, oh, you know what he look like, what he look like. So I show her a picture and she was like, oh my god, like that nigga fine, like if you don't hop on him, I will. And you know, in any other instance, like if my friend had like said that, I wouldn't even have taken it literally, just because, you know, like my friends have never made me feel like kind of weird or made me feel a way like they was trying to like fuck with a guy that I wanted, except in the past, like when I was a kid. I've done a story time on that as well. Anyways, so with that being said, when she said that, in my head I'm like like, Savannah, slow down.
For him, Savannah, slow down.
Okay, because like I said, the bitch is fine as fuck. So I knew it wouldn't be nothing for him to like want to hop on her. So I was like, raggy? So anyways, but that was like kind of like something that I put in the back of my head, because I was like, okay, well, there's not really going to be a time that I feel like they're ever going to meet or even cross paths or whatever. So I was like, you know, I'm not pressed or whatever. But it was this one random day, and mind you, me and this girl Chanel, we would always hang out all the time, like outside of work, even after work. Like sometimes if we worked a shift together, sometimes she'd be like, oh, you want to go get hookah, or you want to go like get something to eat after work? And I'd be like, hell yeah, girl, like it ain't nothing to it to do it, let's go. So this night was nothing different. She had this friend that was in town, right? And mind you, we hung out with the friend the night before, but Chanel didn't tell me that the girl was trying to hang out again the next day. And so Chanel brought her a little change of clothes, but told me last minute. Not the camera cut out. Like, that was so disrespectful. So disrespectful. But anyways, I don't know where it stopped me at. But like I said, I had told Chanel, like, you know, I already planned on, you know, going to my old job to get me some drinks to pregame, because I ain't trying to spend too much money outside, okay? So she was like, okay, that ain't no problem, because I need to run to CVS to go get a few things and then also change my outfit. I said, okay, perfect, that works out, right? So we start heading to our cars, and I start heading to my old job because it's literally 5 minutes away from the Sephora I used to work at. And so I am on my way to get the drinks, and she hit me up and was like, oh, actually, like, let's just go together. Like, let's just go to the CVS real quick and then go get the drinks at the restaurant and then head to her place. And I was like, well, I was just like, I don't know about that, because the place closes at 9 p.m. and at this point it was a little bit after 8, so I'm like, it closes in less than an hour and I don't really want to cut it close, because, you know, I want to be considerate, especially seeing as I used to work here, so I know the breakdown process. And when it come to drinks, like, we used to really break down the alcoholic drinks and stuff by like 8:30, so I'm like, you know, I ain't trying to do them like that. And so I was like, you know, like, can we go to CVS after, because the closest one is actually gonna still be open till 12 a.m. and like I said, this place closes at 9, so like we'll be perfectly fine to go to the store after. She said, oh, like that ain't no problem. But in the back of my head, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous for her to come with me, because first, like I said, I wasn't intending for her to come with me to begin with, because this was like something that was last minute. In my head, I had already planned to go to my old job after work. Like, this was something that I already had planned in my head, because sometimes that I would always do that to go visit my old co-worker or whatever. So anyways, that's besides the point. And so I was a little nervous because I thought about the comment she had made a few weeks before then about how he was fine as fuck or whatever. So as we're on the way to the bar or whatever, I simply was just like, hey, like, can I talk to you? And I was just like, you know, I know that like the first time we hung out, we said, you know, may the best woman win when it comes to that guy, but I really, really like this guy. So is there a possibility that we could just not do that, because I like this one. I like this one. And I said it just like that. Like, I didn't say it in like any kind of like rude way. I just said it like that. And she was like, oh, like, yeah, like that ain't no problem. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry if I like gave off that vibe. Like, you talk about him all the time that you really like him. Like, I would never try to do that or whatever. And I was just like, oh well, like, I'm sorry. The only reason I say that is because, you know, you made that comment like the first like time we linked up, so I just didn't know where your head was when it came to that kind of stuff. And, you know, I was kind of like trying to set that boundary because, you know, I do really like this guy or whatever. And I was just like, if you don't, you know, end up wanting to fuck with me, you know, if you want to go talk to him, that's your business. Which, spoilers, that nigga did not want me. So anyways, so she was like, oh, like, no, like, that wasn't my intention, whatever, whatever. And I was like, you know what, I apologize. Like, damn, like, I sound like an asshole. Like, I feel bad, like I was wrong or whatever. So then randomly she was just like, actually, how about this, like, I'll drop you off over there to get the drinks and I can just run to the store and still get my stuff and change my clothes. And I was like, oh no, like, we could still go to the restaurant or whatever and you could change your clothes in the bathroom or whatever, which she was gonna do initially when she had asked if she could come with me to the restaurant. And so she was like, no, like, I'm just gonna drop you off, whatever. She's like, the only thing I asked is like, can you get me a drink? And I was like, of course, like, I was gonna get you a drink regardless. Like, you didn't even have to ask that, like, have to ask me that. So anyways, I get dropped off, I go hang out, talk to the guy, whatever, and then I go and I hang out with her and her friends. So then, like, not too long after that, like maybe like a few days after that, she had told me how, you know, it made her feel a way that I had, you know, said that about, you know, not wanting to do like the whole may the best woman win things. She felt really offended that I even would think that of her. And, you know, I had to simply explain to her, like, you know, my reasoning for why I even felt like the need to say that. But I still did apologize to her because I was like, you know what, like, it's still wrong because, you know, I should have trust in my friend that, you know, she wouldn't do something like this. And, you know, I did apologize to her and I was just like, you know what, like, I understand like where you're coming from and I understand your feelings were hurt, so I do apologize, whatever. And we go about our business, or so I thought, right? So anyways, so at this point I done left Sephora and I done left the taco place and I'm working at Nordstrom Rack. And with me working at Nordstrom Rack, I'm not really able to see the guy like that. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna tell him how I feel, because like I said, I'm not gonna give too much details, but long story short, he ended up leaving to go play for a international basketball team and he left last month. So anyways, I was like, okay, I want to tell him, like, you know, how I feel before he leaves, because like I'm just really itching to, you know, confess my feelings and just get this off my chest, right? So this one night, me and her are like, oh yeah, we're gonna hang out, and I'm waiting for her to meet me at the restaurant. And I was like, okay, like, this is the perfect time to do it before she pull up on me. So I call the guy and I say what I need to say. I'm not gonna go into details because again, I did a story time on this. So then after that, my feelings was hurt because, like I said, long story short, he ended up ghosting me and stopped talking to me at all after that. And I just felt embarrassed and stupid. And so then I had started like flirting with this guy at my old job, right? And we ended up doing what grown folks do, and that shit was ass as fuck, y'all, like so trash. And so I'm over here like texting her and I was just like, bro, like, I ended up, you know, linking with that guy for my job and it was trash, and I only did it because I was just like, you know, I was trying to get over the guy that I had really actually liked, and I was just like, you know what, it didn't even work, like I feel stupid. And I was just like, damn, and I wasted my time because the sex was trash. When out of nowhere, like, mind you, I had like hit her up to like link, and usually if I hit her up to link, even if she couldn't link with me like the time that I like wanted to hang out or whatever, she would always be like, or like, you know, we could do it this time or this day, like this works for me, if this works for you, like I still want to hang out, whatever. But when I had asked her to like hang out, all she said was, oh, I have something to do, and that was it, right? And so in my head I'm like, that's odd, because she usually would try to like reschedule or whatever, but whatever. So then I had texted her about the situation with the guy, doesn't say nothing. But then I texted her again about hanging out another time when out of nowhere she randomly hits me up and was going on about how she basically doesn't like how I like allow men to treat me and how I go about my dating life and whatever. And so for her mental health, she has to distance herself from me, which I was like, okay, like I can understand, like as a friend, because I've been in positions where my friends are not really in the best position in their romantic life, and it's just like, okay, like it gets hard to kind of support somebody in a cycle that they don't want to get out of. But at the same time, I was like, damn, like this came out of nowhere. So anyways, I was like, you know what, I understand, like I understand where you're coming from. And you know, if you actually want to work on the friendship and, you know, continue to have a relationship in the future, like I would love to try to work on our friendship, because I do value it and I really do enjoy your company, and I just enjoy you as a friend, and I just really truly love you. So, you know, like I'm willing to like work on it if you are. Do y'all know that this girl responds by saying, oh, I don't hate you, like don't think I hate you or anything, like I still care about you. And in my head I'm like, I never said that. But by that message, I felt like that insinuated that we weren't going to be friends anymore, because she had said initially, she didn't say, hey, for my mental health, I don't want to be your friend anymore. She said, for my mental health, I need to distance myself and take some time to myself. So I'm like, okay, if somebody tells you that they need to distance themselves and take time for themselves, you're thinking, okay, like, of course, right now, we're not in that place, but eventually we're going to come back. Versus if somebody says, oh, you know, I don't like how the way you handle things, I don't want to be your friend at all. It's like, okay, I understand, like, going further, they don't want a relationship. So anyways, when she said, oh, I don't hate you, like I don't want you to think I hate you, like I still care about you, whatever, in my head I'm like, I never said that. But obviously you just don't want to be my friend anymore. You just don't know how to just forwardly say, I don't want to be your friend anymore. So anyways, I was like, okay, well, let me go about my business. I like, you know, I'm hurt as fuck, because like I said, I really loved her and really value their friendship. So I'm like, damn, that like really hurt. And so anyways, I go about my business, and mind you, before she had cut me off, she had let me borrow this little like smoker's box, right? And the reason she let me borrow it is because, like I said, she's very religious and she's Muslim. So she was participating in one of their cultural like holidays. And with that being said, you know, during that time you have to basically have a clean system all the way around. And so she was like, you know, like I want to give it to you, you could put it to good use while, you know, I'm going through this like religious holiday or whatever. And I'm like, okay, like her, whatever. So with that being said, like I said, it was like a smoker's lock box, and I'm going to insert a picture of like exactly what it looks like so y'all can get a visual of what this box looks like. So anyways, with that being said, she had it like customized a little bit on the inside with like stickers and stuff, and she had like smokers accessories like a grinder, different like rolling papers and stuff like that, like some basic smoker stuff, a lighter, whatever. So anyways, she had let me borrow it, and once she cut me off a few days after that, she had asked me like, oh, like do you think you can like give me like the box back or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. And mind you, this was after the religious holiday or whatever. So I don't want y'all, you know, trying to try her, trying to think she trying to do bad stuff, because like I said, she don't play about her religion. So yeah. But anyway, she was like, can I get that box back? I said, okay, that ain't no problem, like I'll give it back to you. But before I give it back to you, like, you know, my sister broke the lock on it, because it was this one night, like me and my sister had got into it, and she thought that I had stole her weed, when it turns out it was her baby daddy who stole it. But she thought I stole it, and she thought I had put it in like the little smoker's box. So she came in my door banging and was like, where my weed at? Like, open this box. And I'm like, I don't have your weed, I don't have your stuff. So anyways, like I said, I told the girl like, yeah, my sister ended up breaking the lock, but I will replace all your stuff with no issue, just send me the link, whatever. So she goes on this whole rant about how the box is so sentimental, and how her and her friend decorated together, and it was like a bonding moment. And you know, the box is unique to her and this, that, and the third. And I profusely apologize. I'm like, I'm sorry, like I really do apologize, like that was not my intentions, like I was not expecting that to happen. So anyways, she tries to be petty. Mind you, I said, can you send me the exact link of the box, right? And so she sends me a screenshot of the box and a screenshot of the stickers that she had, because she was like, can you replace the stickers too? And I was like, okay, like whatever. So I go and I type in the box exactly to what it says in the screenshot, and I get the stickers as well, and I order everything and I send it to her mother's house, right? So anyways, like in the meantime, between time, I still told her, like, I'll still drop off the original box, like I'm not gonna keep the box, like you'll just have 2 boxes, like, because you said it's sentimental to you, so you could still like keep the box, like whatever. Like, why would I keep something that has sentimental value? Just keep it. So I drop off the box, right? And the thing was, one thing was missing from this box, but I completely forgot about it. And it was this little glass jar that had a Puerto Rican flag on it, right? Because long story short, her cousin got that souvenir for her when her cousin was in Puerto Rico, right? And so the last time me and Chanel had smoked together, we literally was smoking in my car using the box, and we used her little like Puerto Rican jar as a lighter. I mean, not as a lighter, as an ashtray. So with that being said, after we used it as an ashtray, I had put it in my driver's side door and completely forgot about it. So when I dropped off the box, she initially was like, oh, there's something missing. And I'm like, what's missing? Like, what are you talking about? And she was like, oh, like this little like glass jar, whatever, like my cousin got it for me. Like, where is it? Like, can you please look for it? And I was like, are you sure it's not in there? Because like I said, in my head, it is completely with her, because I done forgot that we done used it as an ashtray in my car, and I just never put it back in the box. So she's like, can you just please look? So I'm looking, I'm tearing up my garage, I'm looking all through my garage, I'm looking all through my car, because I was like, okay, like the only places that I've ever had this stuff was in my garage and in my car. So I was just like, if it's not in here, then you have to have it, right? I'm even calling my sister, and I'm like, have you seen this like little jar? Like can you like let me know if you've seen it or whatever? My sister's like, I don't know what you're talking about, like I've never seen it, whatever. So I'm telling her, I'm like, hey, I can't find the jar, like I'm literally looking everywhere, cannot find it, but if it comes up, I will let you know, and I don't have a problem dropping it off. And so the first thing she immediately says is, I feel like you're lying. Like, you're either not telling me the truth or you're purposely trying to keep my stuff. And in my head, I'm like, what? Because I'm just like, bitch, I done sat up here and I'm ripping and running looking for this stupid ass shit for you. I'm looking for this shit for you, bitch. And you trying to accuse me of being a thief? And then I'm like, out of all things to steal, why would I steal a souvenir of a little jar of a place that I've been to? Mind you, like I said, sister ain't never been to Puerto Rico. I've been to damn Puerto Rico. Why the fuck would I want to steal your souvenir when I have the memories of being there? That's my souvenir. I got the videos of me being there. All the souvenirs that I've actually bought while I was on the island is my souvenir. So like, what are we talking about? In my head, I'm just like, girl, like out of all the things to steal, why the fuck would I steal that, right? So as soon as she say that, I immediately was just like, I don't know what your problem is. And I was just like, anytime that I've had an issue where I didn't have money or I didn't have enough money to go out or do certain things, I would be straight up and be honest and be like, hey, I don't have money, this, that, and the third. And I was just like, I never lied to you. I had no reason to lie to you, and I have no reason right now in this moment to lie to you either. So with that being said, why would I try to steal from you? And I was just like, out of all things, a little funky souvenir from a place that I've been to. I was just like, that don't make no sense. And I said, but if I find your things, I will gladly drop it off. And I just left it at that, and she never said nothing else, right? So at this point, I'm like, fuck the friendship. Like, obviously we really ain't gonna be friends anymore after this, right? So then like I said, I ordered the stuff off of Amazon. Mind you, the box it's not no hella expensive item, but it's not like the cheapest either. Like the shit was $35 and then the stickers was $6. So I ended up spending like $42. And so like I said, I shipped this stuff to her mom's house. Mind you, again, also I had asked her for the link, never sent me the link, just sent me a screenshot. So then she gets the items, and then after like a few days, she then reaches out and was like, hey, this box isn't the right box. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she was just like, this isn't the right box, this isn't the exact box. I said, yes it is. I said, that's literally the exact box that you sent me in the screenshot. I said, I asked you for the link and you didn't send me the link. You instead opted for a screenshot, and so I just typed in exactly what's in that screenshot, and even in the description pictures and in the reviews it was the same exact box. So I said, I'm not really sure what you want me to do. And I was just like, but if you want to return it, I can gladly send you the barcode and you can take it across the street from Sephora and go return it at Whole Foods, because I don't know how they do things in other states, but I'm gonna assume they do it similar how they do it in Georgia. But when it comes to like returning things to Amazon, they have like certain locations. So like for Georgia, a lot of locations that have Amazon return lockers are in Whole Foods. And so there was a Whole Foods across the street from our old job, and I was like, you can go to that Whole Foods and return it, and then I can send you the barcode if you would like. But other than that, I said I'm not returning it myself because that is the exact box that you sent me, so that's the only option. And she said, okay, well, whenever I'm ready for like to return the box, like I'll let you know and I'll ask you for the barcode. Y'all, do y'all know that she's never hit me up since then for the barcode? Because I knew she was on fuck shit, because I'm a very nice person and I like to go out the way for people who go out the way for me, and I really like to go above and beyond for my friends. And so the fact that I was already even willing to do a lot of the other stuff, she probably thought, oh yeah, let me just keep getting over on this bitch just to, you know, keep playing in her face. But once I threw her that curveball of saying you can return it, I feel like after that she was like, okay, it's not worth it, it's not worth the bullshit. Because like I said, she never hit me up literally ever again. Have not heard from her since that day, like at all. Mind you, she's not blocked or anything, so it's not like I wouldn't know or not. Like I would know if she's hit me up, and she hasn't. And I just, like I said, I just knew she was on bullshit when it came to that box. But like that shit was a wrap for me. And like I said, I really was hurt by how the way things ended, but things happen for a reason. And you know, who am I to question what God has for me? Because obviously he has certain things set up, and if he didn't want us to be friends, that's fine. But you know, I still think about the friendship sometimes, because I'm like, damn, like I really thoroughly enjoyed her company. Like I loved her deeply, okay? Like I was sick as fuck when she broke up with me, okay? So I'm not gonna lie and sit here and act like it didn't hurt my feelings at all. So like just the way she acted, I was just like, this is crazy. Like you really treated me like I was a piece of shit at the end of this friendship. But you know, things happen for a reason. You live, you learn, and you move on. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. I know it was a little chaotic, but like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. Good night, guys. I'll see you guys later.